This is the vlog for July 31st, the last day of July. And, so today has been markedly cooler than the last few days by a fairly large margin. Today was only, I want to say, a high of 85 compared to yesterday's high of 92, possibly even hotter in places. And 7 degrees definitely makes a big difference. However, I just realized that because it's been cooler, people in this house have not turned the AC on in this room. So this is supposed to be my cool little bastion, and instead it is quite warm. It's actually warmer in here than it is outside. So I'm going to remedy that now. Yeah. All right. Doing it live as usual. Okay, so today has been really pretty good in a lot of ways. That whole little social issue that I had yesterday about keeping secrets from people and privileged information that I'm not ever sure what I'm able to share and what I'm not supposed to share. Apparently nobody's miffed except for me for feeling stupid. So that's good. If me feeling stupid is the cost that everybody else feels fine in this situation, I will gladly pay it. It's mostly a relief more than anything else. Oh, the window's still open. Okay, this is going to be a pretty bad one because I'm not going to be in the frame for at least a minute or so of this. But I'm still, you can probably still hear me. Okay. I'm partly doing this to myself since I'm wearing this Hawaiian shirt over an undershirt, which makes it all the more warmer. But, you know, when I'm done with this, I'm going to take the overshirt off and relax in my chair and play a little bit of a new game that I didn't even know was coming out until today, called Chasm. It's from a company called BitKid, and they haven't made a lot of games that I've been able to see, but this game looks so good. That's my meme face for that one meme where the... Anyway, Chasm is a side-scrolling Metroidvania game. Much like the upcoming Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. However, unlike Bloodstained, this actually maintains the original Metroid and Castlevania 2D art style. It doesn't actually have either of those styles specifically. It's going for a more fantasy-oriented than gothic or science fiction look. But it definitely has a lot of Castlevania influence showing in its design. The main character, I described him to somebody as being a little on the pro-taggy side. He looks very much like a character from an anime or a video game that's just meant to be a generic main character hero that you play as, which is okay. I sort of prefer female protagonists, mostly because Metroid had a female protagonist, and so I sort of associate the genre with female protagonists, but there have been very few of those in Castlevania games, so I guess it holds that this game would not have a female protagonist either. But it has one super interesting feature that I'm very excited to explore, and that is after you beat the game, you have a New Game Plus option, but the world is procedurally generated for you. Now, part of me is really excited for this, and there's a small part of me that's slightly skeptical, because the idea behind New Game Plus is usually that you keep a lot of your character's progression, and keeping all of the items that unlock new areas, like if you need special jumping boots to get up to a higher ledge than you would normally be able to reach with a normal jump, starting the game with all of your equipment means that you could get to any level of ledge right away, which means that all of the really clever level design could absolutely go away, assuming there is any clever level design. Metroid had a lot more sort of, oh, I see what they're doing, sorts of tricks with their level design than Castlevania games tended to, but Castlevania games had their fair share of situations where you would see a place that you wanted to go but couldn't until you had the right item. But a lot of my favorite Castlevania Symphony of the Night wasn't really gating you behind obstacles that required special items. A lot of it was just progressing through these very intricate, very beautiful rooms with lots of details. And there were multiple paths that you could take through those levels, or through those maps, to get to where you wanted to go, and you could get items in different orders every time, which increased its playability a whole lot. So that's what I'm sort of hoping. I'm hoping that there aren't, I'm hoping that this feature where you get a randomized map every time you play actually does increase the replayability and interests me enough to keep replaying it if it's a really good game. But if not, one playthrough, I'm sure I'll really enjoy it, and it'll tide me over till Bloodstained Ritual of the Night comes out. So, I've hit 6 minutes. No one's come storming in yet, so I'm going to call it good and say, this is Eric Spornitz, and tomorrow will be better.